For younger millennials, and certainly those who fall into Gen Z and Generation Alpha, it's difficult to comprehend that there was an internet without social media. But for older millennials, members of Generation X and baby boomers, you might hear them reminisce about the good old days of the World Wide Web before it evolved or devolved, depending on who you ask, into social media fiefdoms. You simply logged on, checked your email, went to a website or two, and if you had your own website, you posted something. Here's how a public access TV show, Computer Chronicles, described the experience back in 1993 during a segment showing one of the first browsers, Mosaic.
All over the world, local people, ordinary people are becoming electronic publishers. They're putting up the things that mean something to them and they want to share it with the rest of the world. And what Mosaic does is it provides a window into this incredible cyberspace, this information space that's developing. And it allows you to simply, what we call net surf, looking for cool stuff. That's what the kids say they're doing.
That was Larry Smarr, an American leader in computer science back in 1993. The internet's evolution in the 1990s and 2000s was gradual, marked by the development of basic infrastructure and early web technologies. However, recent years have seen rapid advancements driven by high-speed connectivity, mobile technology, and innovative applications, transforming the internet into an integral daily part of our lives at an unprecedented pace. And here we are today. I'm Cody Combs, and this is our introduction to our special social media series of the Business Extra podcast. In these next few episodes, we'll be looking at the seemingly unstoppable social media business sector that everyone loves to criticize, but few can live without. Let's set the stage to the here and now.
Make no mistake, this is a ban. A ban on TikTok and a ban on you and your voice. Politicians may say otherwise, but don't get confused. Many who sponsored the bill admit a TikTok ban is the ultimate goal.
That's TikTok's chief executive Shaoji Chu responding to U.S. President Joe Biden signing a bill that might ban TikTok if ByteDance, a China-based company, doesn't divest TikTok from its portfolio. U.S. lawmakers have concerns about how TikTok's user data is stored and potentially used, but TikTok and its corporate owners ByteDance have dismissed those concerns. The social media company is also suing the U.S. Department of Justice to stop the potential ban. Shaoji Chu vowed to continue the fight.
It's obviously a disappointing moment, but it does not need to be a defining one. It's actually ironic because the freedom of expression on TikTok reflects the same American values that make the United States a beacon of freedom. TikTok gives everyday Americans a powerful way to be seen and heard.
Seen and heard indeed, and not just in the United States. Globally, most estimates show that TikTok has more than 1 billion monthly active users. The video-fueled social media network is the platform du jour. Its algorithm is the envy of the tech world. As Democratic Representative Robert Garcia, who opposes the ban, points out, the app caters to users and their diverse interests with a very bespoke social media video feed.
Long before I got to Congress, I also used TikTok to gather what was going on around me around the world, not just in politics, but also in entertainment and pop culture. We should also be honest with each other. TikTok is also fun. People use it.
It's easy to forget, but not too long ago, it was Facebook, with its approximately 3 billion users, that was the envy of the social media world. It also drew the criticism of regulators all over the world, putting founder and chief executive Mark Zuckerberg on the same hot seat that's currently occupied by TikTok's chief executive. Here's just one example from 2018, when Mark Zuckerberg testified before U.S. Congress about user data privacy.
It's clear now that we didn't do enough to prevent these tools from being used for harm as well. And that goes for fake news, for foreign interference in elections, and hate speech, as well as developers and data privacy. We didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a big mistake. And it was my mistake, and I'm sorry. I started Facebook, I run it, and I'm responsible for what happens here.
Yet for all that controversy over the years, Meta, owner of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, persevered, most recently posting quarterly revenue of $36 billion, yes, that's right, $billion. Overall, according to Statista Market Insights, total revenue in the social media sector reached almost $130 billion. And amid all that wealth, others are seeking a piece of the social media pie dominated by TikTok and Meta. But make no mistake, there are some cautionary tales. Not every social media startup succeeds. Take Post, widely viewed as an alternative to Twitter with a focus on news content. It had a lot of VC funding, and it was a media darling.
We view ourselves as a platform for regular people. Want to come online, they want to read news, they want diversity in their news, they want to say something, etc., but are not in the business of being a social culture warrior. That's not their full-time job. They have another job, and so as far as we're concerned, the culture warriors can go to the other platforms. We're for regular people.
That was Post founder Noam Barden, who we interviewed about 1 year ago when optimism was an overload about Post's chances for social media success. Mr. Barden had reason for optimism, and he had a track record of success. He founded the satellite traffic navigation company Waze, which was later sold to Google as the cornerstone of its maps technology. It seemed he also had a good sense of timing. A Twitter backlash was brewing. Elon Musk bought the company, changed its name to X, fired content moderators, which led to an increase of hate speech on the platform. Noam saw an opening.
75% of Twitter users have never tweeted, right? They use Twitter to consume content, and that's most of the users. But the platform is built for the cool kids who produce the content, which are a fraction, like 5% of the users, really, right? So where do you go if you like to consume your news and news, by the way, in the widest sense, right? News, not just in the traditional sense. Right? There's a tremendous amount of things today that we call news. If you want to consume your news off a social platform and you're not a culture warrior, where do you go? And we decided to build a home for those people.
But recently in April, not enough of those people signed up for Post. Those sky-high expectations came crashing back down to reality. Noam reflected on the demise of the platform. Quote, "A consumer business at its core needs to show rapid consumer adoption, and we have not managed to find the right product combination to make that happen." Also worth noting, another Twitter alternative, Bluesky, once backed by former Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey, has had some trouble gaining momentum as well. Even Mr. Dorsey recently left Bluesky's board of directors and instead returned to Twitter, now known as X platform. Meanwhile, there are a few other attempts at social media breakthroughs we've talked about on Business Extra. There's Vero, a platform co-founded by Dubai-based Ayman Hariri, who we interviewed back in 2023 about the authenticity-oriented social platform. If you don't mind me asking, how many users are we looking at right now?
So we have over 6.5 million registered users on the platform. And we're not actively marketing the platform just yet. We did a little bit of marketing a few years ago and we became #1 app in the world, and it crushed us, and it wasn't what we were expecting.
That was 2018?
Yeah, so we really spent a little bit on advertising and we became #1 app in the world. So it was a lesson learned.
Vero plans to introduce a subscription tier to the platform at some point this year, but success is far from guaranteed.
We're looking to do things differently from the onset, whether it's our business model, providing equity value for the people that are bringing their audience to the platform, and continue on from there.
There are also new platforms seeking a more niche audience, like football fans looking to keep things positive on social media. That's where Striver comes in, which strives for positive interactions and engagements on social media.
That's the feeling we want to have. That's the feeling social media should have. Social media should be a platform for us all to engage. And it's not that at the moment. I firmly believe that's how it was supposed to be. And that was the intent of everyone that started a social media platform, was to engage with the world. But it's moved away from that. And we're trying to bring it back to being what it is, which is essentially a place for us to engage with each other.
Again, it's a novel idea, but success is far from guaranteed. The dustbin of history in terms of social media companies is full of examples. That said, in the weeks ahead, we'll speak with several social media movers and shakers about why their platforms are seeing a lot of recent success and how they hope to grow in the months and years ahead. We'll also speak with influencers who often make or break these platforms. And finally, we'll speak with social platform upstarts looking to leave their mark on tech history. That's what you can expect from our special Business Extra social media edition in the weeks ahead. That's it for this episode. This podcast was produced by Doa Farid and Arthur Edison. I'm your host, Cody Combs.